to order. If everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If you please silence your cell phones. Ms. Settles, have a roll call, please.
Mayor Plummer,
Here.
Commissioner Brooks,
Here.
Commissioner Fields,
Here.
Commissioner Gray will be absent today, Commissioner Galbraith.
Here.
We have a quorum and ready for the transaction of business.
Okay, Ms. Miller, you ready to go?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. First item, we do have two different minutes to approve. The first one being the January 28th, 2025 regular meeting. May I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any comments, questions, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This brings us to the January 28th, 2025 joint city and county meeting minutes.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. This brings us to second reading of ordinance 2025-3, which is an amendment to the fiscal year 2024-2025 budget. Brian, if you'll read that for me.
Sure. So this was something you all started, I guess this year, to try to do quarterly budget amendments to catch up. So this will be the second amended iteration of the 25 budget. And as you'll see here, the total funds available will be amended to the new number of $23,609,858. The total budgeted expenditures raises to $13,762,974, which leaves an estimated fund balance at the end of this fiscal year on the general fund side of $9,846,884. On the utility fund, proprietary fund side, the revenues are amended to increase to $28,936,409, and the budgeted expenditures increased to $28,936,409, leaving an estimated ending proprietary/utility fund balance projected at the end of the fiscal year of $2,347,554. Sorry.
Okay. And this was presented first reading last meeting. We discussed that this includes items such as the fire department, the fire truck, the funding and the loan proceeds for that, the grant revenue, vehicle damage repairs, a new accounting for how we do KYMEA and the credit we receive for running the power plant, as well as some funding related to the US 460 project, and then other vehicle collision damages that we had. Brad, did you want to add anything?
Yeah, I think you summarized it up pretty good. So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion on this item? Ms. Sells, could you please call the roll?
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Galbraith.
Yes, ma'am.
Motion carries.
Next item B is a second reading of ordinance 2025-4, which is an ordinance amending the rates and charges for users of wastewater treatment works. This was presented to you all previously related to the surcharge on our oil and gas and grease. We have Mr. Mayhorn, Mr. Harris here if you have any additional questions on this item. Hearing none, may I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
We have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion on this item? Hearing none, Ms. Sills, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Brooks,
Yes.
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Plummer.
Yes.
Motion carries.
This brings us to second reading of ordinance 2025-5, which is an ordinance related to the amendment of the compensation schedule and creation of a new job title. This was briefed to you all on the prior meeting as well. It does two items, first being the creation of an equipment operator position, and the second, looking at the movement of personnel through the electric schedules. Are there any questions on this item?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Ellis, could you please call the roll?
Commissioner Fields,
Yes.
Commissioner Galbraith,
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Plummer,
Yes.
Commissioner Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, this brings us to a first reading, so there won't be a vote on this one, but this is ordinance 2025-6, which is the application of a neighborhood revitalization design character overlay, which is the Paris West Side overlay we'll be talking about today. Brian, could you read this introduction and then I'll brief on it?
I will. So this creates the neighborhood revitalization design overlay for approximately 207 acres to preserve existing neighborhood character for properties located, and there's a number of streets and addresses here, but for the most part extends along Atlas, Conley's Avenue, Curtis Avenue, Cypress, from 711 to 1200. Fields, Gano, Gorey, Hanson, Henderson, Higgins, Horton Drive, most of Lilliston's, so it's clocked at 310 to 616. Lincoln Avenue, Liesville Street, Marshall Heights, Marshall Street, Patterson, Patton, Pearl, Pinecrest, Short, Singers Alley, Spalding Street, Stearns Avenue, Thomas Avenue, 227 to 560 of West 7th, 200 to 585 of West 8th Street, Walker Avenue, Western Way, Williams Street, and Windsor Way. And this, okay, I was gonna say, and so what this does is adds, within sections of our zoning ordinance, two design standards. One would be minimum wall openings, which would be 10% of the wall plan. And then would require front porches and entry areas as well for new single-family homes, duplexes or multifamily homes.
So you all are familiar that we previously brought forward a zone text amendment, which allowed us to create overlays for a designated area to preserve or enhance the character of an area. The West Side Community Group had been working diligently with staff for a very long time to have a lot of neighborhood meetings, look at their strategic planning process, and part of that came forward with these design characteristics or these design standards. There's a map that shows you the area of the impacted area, and there's also a design manual that is provided to assist staff with the implementation of this item. Michelle is here if you all have any questions of her as well.
How do we get this out to individuals that have bought property on the west side and are planning to make some changes, and they have their own ideas about what they want to do before this ordinance is passed with a second reading? How do we get them to say, hey, wait a minute, we've got some changes, you need to look at this, check with planning and zoning?
And Brian and Michelle, you guys certainly can jump in. This has gone through a couple of public hearing opportunities. It is my understanding, going back through older records, that when this first kicked off in some of the initial meetings, the landowners were invited to attend those meetings as well. And then there's been a couple of continuations and notices that have gone out. So this has gone through the planning and zoning process, which would have had those public hearings and the opportunity to voice those items. Planning Commission is recommending that this is approved. We can post something, but that's generally the opportunity for people to come forward and voice their concerns or items that they want to address through that process.
Yeah, and so I think, Michelle, the last letters went out in October, does that sound right? September, October timeframe? November 1st, but it went to all the property owners, so, you know, unless properties change hands since then.
I think one or two pieces have.
Okay, well, we can, if you just identify them, drop them a couple pieces in the mail. So the notices and publications is all within your packet, so if you see a name that's not on that list, identify it that way.
We're happy to reach out. And then certainly when anybody came in, we know we want to catch it on the front end, but they would work with planning and zoning, who would explain any requirements as well as all of the standard requirements, what are the setbacks, things like that. We can also put it on our website and information along those lines. Any other discussions or questions on this item? This brings us to consent agenda. There are 8 items on consent agenda. Would anybody like any of these items removed and discussed separately? Hearing none, may I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. On the regular agenda, we have 1 item for you all today, and this is we're bringing back the discussion related to the easement request received from Kentucky Utilities. Mr. Mayhorn is going to brief you on this item.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So several months back, we was approached by a representative from Kentucky Utilities requesting an easement for a small section of property in front of the soccer fields and the wastewater treatment plant. They currently have an easement in that area where they have some overhead structure. They're just looking to extend that easement out a little bit further. So this item was originally brought to commission in November. At that time, commission had advised that maybe I do a little more research and see if there was any other alternatives that we could do to maybe be able to serve the wastewater plant and potentially the new transfer station on the City of Paris Electric instead of KU. And maybe that would be something that we could kind of negotiate out with KU in lieu of, any kind of compensation for the easement. So after that, I'd met with staff and we done quite a bit of research on that. And with meeting with the electric department, there would be a substantial amount of infrastructure that would have to be installed to be able to get City of Paris electric service to those facilities, which would also include across the North Essex Railroad and some other, items that would need to be considered. If we did do that, there still was a concern of voltage. Kentucky Utility provides a different voltage than the City of Paris. The wastewater plant is set up for the voltage that is provided by Kentucky Utilities, including the backup generator and a lot of other items. So we didn't necessarily think that that would be a good option moving forward. So I did reach back out to Kentucky Utilities, and as they're trying to get this process moved forward, originally they had offered a one-time payment of $4,788 for this easement. We are, as of right now, we're the only easement that they have not received back signed. So they've received their signed easements for this entire project except for ours. So try to get this moved forward. They offered to increase their compensation from $47.88 to $68.40.
But their schedule still shows 4788.
Yes, that's the old one that they had originally sent over. I have the new one.
Okay.
They
There is a new
didn't get
one.
it
Okay.
sent over until this morning, yeah.
Okay.
So, do you guys have any questions or concerns with this easement, or?
You just need a motion to approve and authorize the mayor to sign the easement.
Motion to approve the mayor to sign the easement. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments on this item? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Brings us to outside agencies, Ms. Betty Ann.
Good morning, how are you all?
Good morning.
just a few things. I finally finished the final report for ARPA, and handed it in. It was due the 15th of February, and I took it last week and handed it to the state people. So they have it in hand. They had already gotten some in, but they had 88 more to review. And mine's not gonna even be one of the bigger ones, so, it's gonna be a while before we hear back about approvals and things like that, or if there's anything else I need to do. So that was at the regional meeting, which was last Friday, and I was pleasantly surprised. Our regional meeting was held in Lexington, and, they have turned Wood Hill Movie Theater, if you all ever remember going to Wood Hill to the movies, they've turned it into, Studio Lex. It's a film production studio. I mean, it's a big deal. While we were there, they were filming, some part of a TV series. So, we got to visit everybody in all the places and meet the people that, work there. And part of what they do is they will send us information, like if they're looking for a location. So, we'll be able to, if they're looking, let's just say, to find an old-fashioned courthouse for a scene in a movie, then I can immediately send them something that says, come to Paris and check us out. So that's pretty good. And the other thing I learned was that Mary Quinn Raymer from Visit Lex worked very closely with Misty Wrigley, who, basically paid for the studio. So we have a local connection there as well. Art Walk is scheduled for April 25th from 6 to 9. I've put some reminders out just to get people to start thinking about it. Of course, tourism has already met, they picked the date. We've started a little planning so that this can be one of the better art walks. We're trying to build it up, and it will be because it's the first, event out of the winter. Merchants will meet on the 18th at 4 o'clock at All About Kentucky. We also, on the agenda, have a new, project or event for downtown that is being headed up by Margaret Layton at Lockley Antiques. And it will be basically called Paris Horses and History. And part of the event is called Horses on Main Street. And I'll have more information about that after the meeting on the 18th. With that said, we're gonna work to revitalize and add some more horseshoes to the horse walk of fame. And our tourism meeting is on the 18th at 1:30 at City Barn. If anybody would like to come, it's open to the public, so come visit.
Thank you, Betty Ann.
Ms. Michelle, do you have anything else for planning and zoning?
Good morning.
Good morning.
So January is usually I don't say slow, because we don't like to use that word, it's less hectic. For building permits, we had 13 for the month. 3 of those were within the city limits. We had 13 electrical permits. 3 of those were within the city limits. There were no address requests, no street cuts. There was 1 stream construction permit that was within the city. It's over on Lucas Street or Avenue, not sure which one that is, but that was approved through the state, so he is now in the process of working with us to get his building permit. There were 16 building inspections, 11 of those were within the city limits. We had 4 code enforcements, 3 were within the city limits. And for the planning and zoning, we did 5 applications for the month of January. Big news, we are now accepting applications for building inspector's position. That was just posted on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. Right now, we're focusing on training the staff as well as our 2 new commissioners that we have on our planning commission board. Our Board of Adjustments meeting is February 18th at 5:30. We have 2 items on the agenda, 1 variance, 1 conditional use permit. And our planning and zoning meeting is on the 20th at 6:30, and we have text amendments from the city of Millersburg on the agenda.
Thank you, ma'am.
You're most welcome.
That brings us to staff. Any staff updates?
Just want to give a couple updates on some projects and some things that we've got going on in the city of Paris. We have got quite a few projects going on right now. We have our water treatment plant upgrade and our distribution upgrade. The distribution upgrade has been completed, so we're kind of getting that all wrapped up. The water plant upgrades, we're getting those started. It's not moving as quickly as what we wanted it to due to some lead times on some electrical components and stuff we had to get ordered, but we are getting those moving forward. The Millersburg sewer line project, we're trying to get that moving on. We had a project meeting a week or so ago, got a few areas of some easements that we've got to get taken care of, so they're hoping to try to get that taken care of, and the plan is to try to get out for bid in early spring for this project. We had a Fund B loan application that we had to get submitted to try to help with some funding on that to get enough to be able to finish that project. Another big item that's going on is the Divine Spirits that's coming to City of Paris. They have took ownership of the property. We have been meeting with them on a regular basis, trying to help them get some things lined out for their fire protection and utility services and stuff that they need. They've been working with planning and zoning, getting any kind of permitting or anything that they need through planning and zoning. I think that their permit application for demo and everything has been submitted to planning and zoning. They're waiting on a asbestos report to come back before that Michelle can get that approved, get them moving forward. As of right now, their initial plan is to start with the Kwanzaa huts and get those refurbished and use those for storage, and then eventually gradually work in their distilleries. So that's kind of what we've got going on right now. I know we've got the phone system upgrade that's still moving forward, and the internet upgrades that's moving forward, and so we've got quite a few things going on. I know the ladies up front have started implementing the new payment system, just kind of softly getting that going to where customers can call in now and pay their bill on an automated service if they don't want to have to talk to somebody. So we've got a lot of things that we're trying to get moving forward.
Kevin, I've forgotten, how many people did Divine Spirit say they would hope to hire once they're open completely?
He said once they were opening completely, between 40 to 50 was what they was hoping for. But he said, that may be several years down the road. They have a business now in Lexington. So this is kind of going to be the second part of that business. And he said, depending on how things goes, if they'll continue to have location or 2 locations, or if, there may be a day that Paris is their only location. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Mike?
This will be easier if I just tell you what's left to do, that's transfer station, so. Right now, they're working on the fence going up around it, with the approval of the epoxy flooring. That'll begin, then the baseboard, then the office area will be done. Minor electricals, what they're working on the inside, all the street lighting's been put up. The gates operational, it was closed yesterday afternoon, it's down to the finished work, then once everything's done, other than the paving, we'll go through and do a punch list of things that didn't get done or need to be fixed. But we're close, it's at the end of the project, so, and we had our monthly meeting last week, and they're gonna try to get Hinkle out as soon as possible, once the weather is, probably the 1st of April if they can, and try to get the paving completed, so. A lot going on fast, every day it's big changes, you see just something different getting done, so it's almost to the end, so. And the crews are out, salt and plow, trying to make way for emergency services to get through, so they'll be here until it stops small, so.
Certainly kudos to staff on a project, well managed, well run, it's gone very well. We are hesitant to announce any type of opening date or anything at this time. We're still working with the state on the permitting process and everything, so we'll be starting to communicate with you all as soon as we get closer to a date, but we don't have that at this time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other staff updates? Just a couple of quick items for me. As a reminder, State of the City is scheduled for tomorrow at Hunt Brothers. I haven't heard at this time if, due to the pending weather, if there's gonna be an additional delay of that. So as far as we are aware, that is still scheduled. Talking with the volunteer group that is completing the disc golf program for us, they've cleared about 4 of the 9 holes, so they're going through and they have to clear the foliage and clear the area, and then they'll come back and do the construction. Certainly with some of the snow and the winter delay, there's not been as much activity, but still in communication with that group, and they're moving forward as we head into the springtime, so that's exciting to see. Ordinance 2025-2, just as a update for you all, because we had a first reading on that item, which was updating the date related to the flood prevention ordinance. That's not coming back to you for a second reading because it's been determined our original date was actually correct. So just in case you are wondering where that second reading fell off at, our original work was accurate. Last thing I have for you all is you all are aware we have been working with Lexington, part of an EPA grant that they've been working on for a climate action plan, a comprehensive climate action plan. So we've had a couple of community meetings. If you recall, some of the priority areas that they've talked about that relate to us, and look at the tree canopy, we've talked about that, we've talked about electric vehicles. So what they're seeking from us now is a community ambassador. So this is a resident, they're asking it to be a resident, not necessarily a me or Marissa or anything like that from somebody that they're working with from a government agency. But this is intended to be an active community resident who will attend community events, educate residents about the work that's being done, and encourage residents to take surveys. So if you all have anybody in mind that you think would be willing to engage in that process with us, if you can pass me along their name and contact information, and I will reach out to them. That's all I have.
I just need to know that, somebody asked me about the 19th, the old transfer, or recycling center. What is the status, I guess, on that building?
Sure, we have gone out through a bid process to surplus that, and we are working with the person who's responded, and we will bring back a recommendation to you all once we have, all of the items worked out on that.
Okay. So
Couple of things. Did we have any damage in Garrett Park with the last flooding that we had that we need to be aware of, or?
Not that was reported up to us through the Parks and Recreation
Okay.
Board of anything significant.
I got a couple of the calls about flooding in the Garrett Park area, and I was just wondering if there was any really major damage that we need to look at?
Mike, are you aware
I
of
haven't
anything?
heard anything.
Okay. Okay. The second thing is, Saturday, the Westside Neighborhood Association, presented to the community about a 10 or 12-minute documentary on the progress we've made with the transfer station. It was very well attended. We had 64 people to sign in, but I think there were more than those 64, 65 people. Some of the people were from Lexington that I talked to. They were interested in knowing how we went about getting the transfer station information together out to the community, how we work with federal and state agencies. They are planning to do some type of project in Lexington. So they were interested in the steps that we took in order to get to where we are today with the transfer station. We also had a couple from Georgia who were delighted to come and see what was going on in the community. And we had several representatives from the community to give updates and to answer some questions that the larger community may have had about the transfer station. Overall, it was a good program. Many people that were not there Saturday asked if the documentary could be shown again, and Vanessa and several people are working maybe to get that on YouTube so that they can see the film. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Don't have anything today.
Wonderful. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Bye.
Thank you.